Oh, there's a yes, I thought the gym. Tamajin and the Godandel, Chazelle. Tanya Jason de Javel, Jijas in the Hajanet. Chanavemo de Jan, so the Version. When there's a lama was in Dagi Juro Venetian, but there's a Melgonage. Was on the young of the so. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, huh? Tiri. 다 티링은 주시로 저 양다고 쳐. 제들에다 기진 고물로 랍저 투여나 다 양다고 쳐서로. 다 양다고 쳐라데 다 알아서 지금 쳐야지 돼. 아니 룩던 튜머로. 당도 많차 알아서 다 뉴질랜드도 다 지단인 야보다 양다고 쳐서나 수수 걸레자 샤요 아니 벤조 롱제 데 시기오랜다고 쳐서나 디 지고고당 밀고고당 구마구 두즈당 아니 배샤 서비나야 지 차와식 첨부 연예도서 패진 양다고 자기 유말에로 지 창송야 서로 근데 아니 다시 차송야도서 양다고 차송을 되네 배샤죠 냐다 그래서 좀네 배샤총도 양다고 저 자금으로 아니 미고고단을 봐 밀고고단 다디 고고단 아니 파르볼에 펜시메베톤에 파르베 롱젤로 네베 레가든데 여러 비즈니스들 두다 두절로 된 외종에 배셔야 양다고 저 인지마 레스로
Today we have been looking at 6 pieces of advice from the predictor Arya Nagarjuna, and I would like to look at this thing we call the correct livelihood, good conduct. And it seems generally in New Zealand that we are good with that. We put effort into it in some sense. But there are those who strive for wealth, strive for financial well-being, and to get to those goals, they might use some deceptive means, gokotang. They might deceive others. Yet in some cases, there are those that even steal. There are those that make their livelihood from selling alcohol or in the meat industry or doing lots of fishing. And in that sense, it doesn't really accord with correct livelihood, because these things can ultimately, instead of having a thought to benefit others, they can be deceptive and harm others in the long run. So it's good to know what is correct livelihood.
아니 다 계지슈디 다 대중 초시로 초시 다 냠낸 치야디 초시 냠낸 치기나 아니 배야고 요레스 메제날 펜도 전부 배요레스로 되와 총화다 초시와 사실로 다 디니 냠낸 치토비나 아니 펜도 배첨부 요레 아니 뒤윤지 강의 망보지 세도레스로
So it's important to try and practice contentment, and that means being satisfied with what one has in the context of this life, in the context of being able to help others. This means having less desires and having that contentment. And if one can do that, there are great benefits, but also straight away, one's own suffering is reduced by being content.
다 촉시 맵이나 아니 벤저 가져 좋으나 미드 방고를 써.
Okay, so without contentment, no matter how much money such a person has, they're like a beggar. It's like a beggar.
자 나다데 사자 빈디다 근데 송다 사자 빈디다 인사이 개보 제시스네 떡랑랑스르와 당부 폐가도네 작랑랑스 촉시 매니기 개보 다 개보스도 다베 땅마 베로 베닝바로와 아니 그베 쉽지 요로 다 축부시오로 이나 심디 가두이나 베 떡랑랑 똥바디데 갈라 찍메 갈라 니메 똥바데데 요레스로 촉시 매로와 다음에 방고로 방고데 비죽해도라 그 초시다 드린 칼라디라나 다 디송으로 다가랑 초시제 되대 그 야 저거도 마서나 야제 되대고 칼라지라나 딕스다 신다 삼게 땅에 상당되대 그 배디 야제 되대고 그랬지 지단디 촉시 여다 매기 쳐바디 어디레스로
What contentment means was said by the Tibetan master Sakyapandita when he said a king without contentment, even though so wealthy, is worse than the beggar who's content with just little, meaning that the king has likened to the kings in India that had so much wealth, but somehow they were always thinking, I want 1, 2, 3, always more. But conversely, the beggars only thought would be just to have a meal. They would be content, thinking, I've got enough, I don't need anything else. That's what it means to be content.
제단다 나란저 단다 촉시유나 다스스 초와제야디 아니 답대워직당 같은상하게 나란저 지조다 피조 먹고 쇼직체야 지조 누쇼 연구 말해라 촉시유나 스스라다 잘라 가려요네 다디 되버총아디 시위시로 거 말해다 나라 마차제지다 마도제지 수부디 되어지죠나 되도록 아니 디 미신다질 직도스로 모다 뉴샹아 모다고레 미신다게 아니 폼다 쭉직 중니 뉴샤스로 나데 뇨고도스로 강바사바 제고도 총박하고 제고도스다 아니 총백이 강바나나 살로가고도 상아가르긴스다 더바디 슉첨보이나 대중조시면은 아니 덴주나라 슈로다 온저 셈들어 덴주 컴피티션은 주제 안데게 아니 뉴슈글레 데네타 고족사데 데네 조용 거라 아니 스트레스 당 아니 데네 셈범마죠 아니 수부칼레 카야 다지 사zam바르 대와 다주 상마 용사 상마디 초직 데네 용거 자산다 말데 초직디 만차직 대제 망보직 되네 용구도 안 가서 미진나.
So then that contentment also goes a long way to having that contented feeling of right livelihood in society. If we are content, meaning that, okay, so materially we might not have a lot, but in terms of our body, we are feeling we're doing okay as long as we're healthy and content. Contradictory to that, if we are always thinking one needs the newest car or the latest iPhone 12, whatever it is, a new house, a new holiday house, air conditioned to fit in those, then there's kind of no end to that desire, and that lack of contentment breeds competition. And once that competition starts to come in, there is the notion of some harm there or harm about to occur. Now, not all cases, but in majority of cases, we can see that.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, it's like because someone has that one, you want that better or the latest one.
If you have this wanting, I want this, desire, right?
Yeah.
And then you have peer pressure, and then you have stress and anxiety and then relationships, money lots damage relationships, but money no make just you're using our using no really proper. And then some part of most problem come from this our wanting wanting too much. Some people thinking, I think this is life's purpose, wanting, making money. And then sometimes we thinking, we're carefully, how, yeah, how, 먼저 대요라 가서 그래. 매직이 그 내로 지어라. 네 노르다 먼저. 나서 다 배샤로 주서나 땅에 매제 강바시자 배샤지서나 다 디디워선 디다 네데 다 미유 춘주로 와라. 나서 딜레 미유 쳇시나. 네 야그로라 미류된데 돈다 딜레 쳇시비샤나. 강바시 야라 가래 항사여라. 강바다 조마게 야우제거다야. 지우드즈 강바베 야우제거더라.
We seem to be mistaken around life's purpose, thinking that if we build a house, then we've got it type thing. But that type of view is very narrow, very small. The perfect human rebirth, being human, should be a much vaster view than that. What's the big deal about building a house? Insects can do that. Birds do it very well.
근데 one bird swallows outside swallows and
Swallows.
yeah, they're very clever build a house. I have one my friend swallow house on the light pole, and they're making amazing beautiful similar castle. 그런 거 불안하 있으셔야
They made like some kind of palace.
pero di tagwa chodo chinji 제운제 소다 거라 할래 그래도 돼.
Amazing and tremendous attention to detail there.
네 딱이 와고 안다와 제는데 제 라고는데 제 야도 야야 조부 쇼소다라 네 조소다 돼. 안데 내 신케사지 네 조나로데 조부 쇼소다 주주 계획도 되나는 주 공화 당지 주주 계획도라. 주주제 빼야고 메제된데 계획도 하면서 미드 될 학습에 적어라.
So very fine the work they do, these birds, to very subtle details to get the nest, is it ready? And then once it's done, and it is finished quite quickly, eggs come. But in a sense, birds, we humans should do better than that.
세상 단다 딜바 세상 다 먼저 셈 양아 너 가시에게 낭배 취체나 방고 지제 대고를 삼당도 된대 말했어. 된대 말했어. 낭배 취체에 방고 제게 좀 말아. 셈게 되중 되바디 마소 마트나나 아니 가두에 있는 감다다 된대난 대고 여러와 강에디 되바 첨부치에 강에 연구 여러 연구도 하다. 제가 알아서 창물로 되는 강연 되고요 말아봐 창물로 지고 되고 그러러 제가 좀 된데 랍저든데 저러와다 신기 되이나 아니 되면 저만 알아봐 이 신을 편도지야다 지도를 편도지야다 구육 편도지야 된데이나 내가 만지지 된다 만지지 그래서 다미 란지고 지고이나 되용은 저용은 왔다 수수지고는 알아서 맞아 강아지냐 그러 다 되용은 저용은 그랬다 랍저데레다 랍저디 먼저 디균 냠는 잖아 강아지 냠네 ngumane odi chedegi wa jomdende ge doana la doade pejade 중대 ne de oda de lazar ta shendage me jizo da chokwa de pindo chigina ne lega tom che susu jigoina ne de dumde wo kudu de sharwa chalado zo hiroshio chikoya kem ta gomba de chen da de la da mangbu charu da ro de la da goya mangbu ro charu da gomba tar de wo shir dindi chikdan yeje chikdan phoba chikdan jawal chik ro 다 내가 망고도 한국 망고도 포 망고도 두마 망고도 배 망고도다 사살 되게 요구 된 적을 했는데 찍이나 그 찍도 장사다 이제 장마를 써지는 사람들이 아주 욕부터 통고도 사람 근데 욕부터 저 두마다 달리다 탑장 그 욕부터
So then, it's helpful in terms of Buddha Dharma. Some people might think to become a practitioner of Buddha Dharma, you are like a beggar. But in reality, it's not really like that. That would be the wrong understanding. The idea is to train the mind so the mind is okay with less. And when the mind has inner contentment and desires less, then commensurately there are less worries. The more desire there is, then the more sufferings and problems come. And this I saw in the advice from Buddha, who said that, generally, this was in the Vinaya, that if you want to be happy, have few things for oneself and look out for others in terms of the beneficial intention. So therefore, in terms of, that means that whatever you have for yourself should be simple, but your motivation should be to benefit society. And this I saw, in the practice that it says in the Vinaya, to just have few wants. It's like you can have like one of everything and live very simply, like a one cup, one bowl, one pillow, one blanket. And then it becomes quite simple because you start to turn your thoughts to others and society. But what I see is we have one pair of shoes, two pair of shoes. We start collecting so many things. And then it's almost like, even in the kitchen, it is like we've become a slave to those things. But actual fact, it should be the other way around. One's possessions should be few and simple and starting to turn towards other.
제가 도중 초시 다 냠내 소로 디 유배체 신시도즈 겨왕아와 샤고 겨군딩아와도 겨군딩아와 세기티가는 되어라 얘는 세기티들라 당진치기요 말어 당진치기요 말어 세기티라 당진치기요 말어 촉시치기요 제가 네 겨왕아와 되다 벽제보다 차대요라 벽제보라도다 요로다 시부지로 아니 제가다 심나라 dimbadan tikune yomarda kana sogre chakshin chune yomaro.
The example of practicing contentment in terms of the fifth Dalai Lama of Tibet, who was an example of this, he sat on a golden throne but had no clinging or attachment to it. And this is the example of a person in Tibet who's like the king, like the one with the most wealth. And the mind, no ego, no clinging there.
다 어느저 만창에 대 저런 만차 둔다 다 산이 니맛 들어 용도와 만자 용도와 다 언저도 상당 그래 아주 셈게 지 마지워서니 대 만차지 칭오볼라 때네 용고여로 근데 용도들 칭오보도 다지 미신다지 잘라야 보시도 나디 요고도 then samlo de madam bayina ro kona misususu nedan damen de yorwa 가시는 변조하고 용거를 가시 변조하고 용어를 찬여 용시야 요머를 봐. 제가 디스스스 내다래. 내 개면도 로. 내래 나랑 게 초와디게 싫어. 자나 다랑 게 베스스 수수 기부로지 소도 그랬다. 정보 대전 상로 된대 직단 도비나 알아서 야고요를 당부 직다 셈기 셈 투야 유진 망고 쇼지 치 맞아 미기 통야 미기 통야 때문에 연구를 당저 셈기 강의 망고 쇼지 미기 닝조 통야 미기 직통 미기 될라 연구여 비인자 아니 미기 담아다 통야 연구여 비인자 먼저 류 저만예샤나 류 저만예샤 당부 시기도 류 당부 시기도 실은 연구 나라야니 숙동보 숙당부 시기도 금전 내가 되래다 먼저 미기 통야기 수들을 때네 아니 먼저 줄을 차소녀 뭐 제기 왔다 차단 제야도 제가 여인자 안데 내가 될라다 삼로디 컨디션 거래 슬라위나 이거 담면다 나와 샤용 거래 담면다 통그래 코 나와도 가두고 말해 수직으로 와 짐바치 주어 말다 어디래다 진주어 말해 해서 신주어 말해 해서
Essentially, coming here to meet on Sunday is all about looking at the mind, I would say. So we can see our attitude upon the condition of seeing outer things as a source. We face dissatisfactions and we are let down. That is the condition. And you might look at others, what they have, and think, oh, I need like that. I need to be like that. But in reality, the wealth is never going to be equal, self and other, because people have different dispositions. And in that sense, they create their own emotional wealth and happiness. So therefore, those things, those outer things that generate our desires are when we see forms. We see forms a lot with our eyes, and we might see a beautiful form and be attracted to that. But coming back to being aware around that are these meditations, like the 4 close placements on mindfulness. The first one of which is to just be mindful of the body. And as we hear in the Heart Sutra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Why? Why form first? Because the eye sees forms. And upon seeing the condition of the form, develops desirous attachment to that. Desire comes. Well, that's okay, but the point is not to cling to it. It's okay if you see these objects, but it's the clinging that causes difficulty. No. Zimbadi, Shambadi,
And in Tibet, I think I saw one time, the 2 times they make in China government they make all equal, making equal 3 times. They made 3 times. Last one I saw, pass in second I didn't see. I don't see, and the last one I saw, and my mother, father talking, the after 1959, and all rich people and things put one house, and first send their beggar for one, and they take what they want, and they take good one, and then last, and a rich family. They had nothing live or broken car, broken pot, something like that. Nothing lived there. And then when I was young, we have the New Year, and the one beggar family, a little bit poor family. They're wearing very fancy. Just my mother says, "This is me." And then we play on the children play. They have box, very nice box, and I thought they have very nice box. And my mother said, "This is our." And then 1978, and in 1978, the China government give equal, again make equal, each family gives same farm and the same animals, We have 22 sheep and one donkey and one yak and one horse, and most family have like that. And we all sheep give my auntie, and my auntie have horse, and my auntie give my father like horse. They give horse, and then my father give other auntie give one donkey and one yak. And they have horse, and we have 3 horse. And one auntie taking only yak. Totally, she has 300 yaks, and the other auntie has maybe 200 sheep, and the other auntie have donkey, maybe 15 donkeys. Donkey is a very good transfer, and then after that, I lost it, poor people. And then the party, they are young, they are sheep. And my father says, this live just long 3 months. After 3 months, they become beggar. 3 months, the big party, and then later, maybe 1 year later, and then the one beggar in poor family, his mother come to our place. They bring my mother's very fancy clothes. Please give some barley. I give you your clothes back. And my mother so happy. My mother give barley and they bring back. And next 2 years later, and they bring box, our box, old box. They bring back. Please give barley. Coming back. The chesa shoulder. Go nyamya mindu de. Chigo so de mindu. Kora sonam rao da. Chigdo kora doshek do de.
It's strange, isn't it? They tried to make this equanimity, but because people have different merits, that cannot be.
And now, in my hometown, my sister bigger the farm because we have these 7 people, and my sister's husband come, and husband family give again farm, and we never make separate, right? Because my 2 brothers live in Lhasa, my big brother live in Lhasa. They have their own business. They don't want to farm. And my sister has a big farm, and most other people have dog, they cut it a little bit, need marriage, they need to cut, they give farm, And then my sister says, oh, no, I don't need big things. I have lots of farms, 그래서 the 냠야면도 직접 써야면도 그러나 디 선남라고 지 야마도다로.
It would be difficult externally to make everyone the same because these things go up and down according to the merits of the beings.
근데 제가 미 잘라라고 다음에 직턴데 나라 딘데시 거의 삼당 말에 쳐요 말이지.
Yeah.
Yeah, where?
Yeah, to have less of that thought that I need lots of things because someone else has them. That's not really spiritual view.
아니 다드네 다 곰조 자디 제산도 드즈베 개심보래 드즈를 텐시 바이오 덴제로와 드즈 먼저 심을 강에 소구요래 봐 먼저 셈마지오 소구요 가자로.
Yeah. So in that sense, then cultivating a meditation with recollection, with mindfulness, with introspection, and that goes a long way to reducing suffering from wanting a lot.
어디지 다 디네다 곰 잡이온 주장가라 셈라 남도로 다면도 샤용을 봐.
Yeah.
샤용디 아니 디 대버에도 마음버에도 하고 저우리 봐. 대버이나 아니 마음바 데베 제머니스로 데베 니주 제라 도주 셈데 도주요 말했어 나와 샤용 거래 진주요 말했다 다 되네 마음발이야 셈데 남도 샤용이야 마음베 듀미스스 마음발랑 ngal dindeskodo de godo as mena ane maumbe simde tengo marwa maumbe dumisosro 저는 심디 다 닫아와가나 심디 닫아와가나 아니 샤고 요래서다 다 고마 직대스다 결혼서 곰 주는 부자기 왜 인자 스스 직 요르다 고직 가서 그래 말자라고지 요르다 직 가서 그랬다 스부디 데데 요르와 아니 삼는 다음에 샤도 다디 데버다 데베네지 마치 레모스 니르마 차차스타 요시 다 데버래다 나 펜도미도 다다 야 뭐야 디 마음베 듀마스 사들라 단당한서 데바 첨보디게네 마음베 듄소야 만체 데베 지고르 데베 나라 디코도 디메나 아니 삼노디 마음바리 직 용구 말아 마음베 처시데데도 고거더라 이내양 쇼지 삼단데나 아니 먼저 다다 먼저 직 용심바디 용도고요 말다 용도고면 너 하잖아 다다 쌤 다다가 가나 샤마도 나나네 강에 쇼지도 와라
Then with meditation, one finds one is getting a lot of discursive thoughts, a lot of scattered thinking, and these are often to do with the past and what's going to happen in the future. So with regards to the past, it is said that don't fixate on what's gone in the past and don't plan a lot around the future. So in terms of the past, these experiences that we've had, they will come up in the mind, 1, 2, 3, but leave those, they've gone. There's no point in going over those, that's already too late. And then with regards to the future, we are always thinking time, when I do this, planning these things. So leave those two, of past and future. Try to remain in the present moment when you meditate. I know you who are here have experience of this because you will have had as your basic practice a meditation and the body stays in one place, but somehow still you will have experienced the mind going here and there, particularly thinking with regards to the past, what has happened, these appearances coming from your past, but also with regards to the future, we tend to have desires or plan things. I need this, I need that, 1, 2, 3. So removing those two and staying in the present moment.
yeah, 디 곰잡나라 다 곰잡죠.
Let's do the sitting practice together.
다 꿀롱 곰지잡라 꿀롱디 다 드리네 송징에 아니 룽하게 저강 저디 심지신 펜바바식 쳐도 지긴 삼배네 꿀롱 곰냐고 시잡쇼스로
So motivate before the meditation well, thinking today the actions of my body and mind will only benefit others, body and speech.
yeah, 다 가오금 안줄레던데 심 상보지요 텐제로 심 상보디다 먼저 디기기 짜와래
Now Joyce thinking, I have that kind attitude, this kind heart really is the source of your mental well-being.
아야 다 롱종인다 롱종으로 다 개발돼 정보데 나군이네 우슈 제탕 파당 수당 시버시 데스데스
Now, breathing exercise to keep the posture straight and upright and relaxed, eyes closed, and being aware of the inhalations and exhalations. So now I'm breathing in, and now I'm breathing out. Be aware of that.
다드네 나군은 우수 텐데 수수 심 르나라 뉴바사바 텐데 레소 텐 아니 파단데 수수 심 마지오 르마데와 마데와 마지오 톡바 남다 카레 요 상마파 텐송 텐제네 꼼데스 잡셨어
Upon inhaling, one's body is pervaded with a sense of well-being. Upon exhaling, all of your mental concerns, worries, stresses are completely dispelled, and the mind is bliss. Think like that.
하나 심베 장무장장 차소去당만나신 차소 전부로
Now think one's mind has become clear and pure, like a clear water.
하면은 왜 가고나신 배 차소 전심데
Or the mind is in the nature of clear light, white light.
다양게 uk주 당겨 파 당겨 시버치 디스테스로
Now, just come to rest the mind on the breath, inhalation, exhalation. Put your mind there.
다 당가죠 uk주 신스는
Then begin to count the cycles of breath. So now I'm breathing in, now I'm breathing out. That's one cycle, 2 cycles. Count up to 10 cycles of inhalations and exhalations, and then slowly go back down to 876. Go back down to 1. At the end of that, place the mind in the present moment and observe the mind's peace, clarity.
Oh yeah. 다 드림 저디 다심 다다와 가는 샤 탑람디 렐하와요 말에 심 다다와 가는 샤라 데베 심나 네 가서 약야 마틴 몽베니 심기 제스 만도 다 두마소스로와 데베 지머니 몽베 두마소스로와 제가 렐하와요 말에 데 가서 심나나 남도 샤용 그래 남도 샤용데 남도데 파 가야라 베전치고 말해로 다 심디 다다가 가는 샤야 베전 제비나 아니 대보다 마음버 란슈기 가도고 여러 제가 가시에다야 단단한 조지 대버 삼단지오 말에 마음버 삼단지오 말로데 오다 대보다 파가오나 마음버 가오나 근데 삼단나 아니 단도 심나라니 강에 철도야냐가 제가 다 심디 다다가 가는 샤야라 베전 치기나 대보다 마음버 란슈기 가도고 먼저 심디 남시 둔신 차고이 누메디신 제만이 성도 반대 추락 셈디 유직 짐베 내가블 유신다 진투고요 말이야. 먼저 셈디 먼저 셈고 뉴바디 베나 먼저 미시디 포바 진용나 포바 통용데 메도 통도고 말이야. 와 까부 수시 까부 잔냐질 따데나 디네걸 마부 통도고 말와. 어디나시 저지 제자 먼저 셈게 다다와 가나 대대나 마음바 진투고 말아. 마음발라 되는 다다와 더두고 말아. 대와도는 다다와 대두고요 말아. 제가 심디 다다와 간라 샤라 곰잡데 데비나 대와다 마음바 람슈게 가도고요. 데 심코는 게 오시 데 젤레데 다 안저 심게 누바디 요 말아 단다. 남시 튀신 차고이 누메디지 지만 인성도.
Keeping the mind in the present moment is not easy. We tend to be thinking about something that happened in the past or revolving future things we might do or what we might need, as it says. Forget about the past and don't fixate on future plans. But we get all these mental discursions around that. At the same time, don't push. A lot of people push thinking, oh, I shouldn't think on the past. I shouldn't be thinking about the future. I must stop that. But if you push that, it could actually get worse. So the point there is just by being aware of the present moment, the past and future naturally subside of their own accord, putting more effort into being present moment. As is said in Untitled Chapter says that the mind can only perceive one object at a time. So very much in that sense, if the eyes are looking at a cup, at the same time the eye cannot focus on a flower, or if they're single-pointedly on the white, it cannot focus on the red. In that sense, then, if we are able to stay in the present moment, we will not be planning or thinking 1, 2, 3 about the future, these things. Or conversely, if we are sidetracked by the future, we can't remain in the present moment and with the past as well. So keeping the mind on the present moment.
다들라 탑시에디 탑시 망고예베 나네 다 천만이샤 다리다 먼저 둔다 하시 하데 디간 안 천만이샤도 도샤게 인스로 다 저랑서 퀴징은서 고물로도 글랍자도 도셈브레 아니 데네 나다리 둔다 하시 지요레 진짜 둔베나랑 아주 진짜 요 말에네 데마 둔다 하시 딱 가질 하이나 시가 투샤이나 데 디즈링가 아니 다 천만이샤시 천만이샤가 막 가질 곰도 없이 곰 제다 저 냠네 디간 지기나 아니 야고요 레스라
So what then would be the method to accomplish that meditation of staying in the present moment? These 4 close placements on mindfulness, I thought to go over those in the coming weeks. We have been looking at 6 pieces of advice by Nagarjuna, but we know that in July we don't have classes here, so in the 4 or 5 remaining Sundays would like to take us through these 4 close placements on mindfulness.
다 당보 류트만이 샤와 지상 류트만이 샤스도 다 당보면서 수수 류 ngoolata 랑스니 제스니 저만이 샤다는데 류 ngoolata 그러라 류 ngoolata제 류 ngoo 컨데스도 따와 디셔러브라 류 ngoo 컨데스다 셔럽지다 아니 때베 미바디 마제와 체네 양양내 도와들라 아니 다 류트만이 샤스고요다 다 디다 지듬버더지로
Right, so now let's look at the first of these 4 mindfulnesses, mindfulness of body. So body has these general and specific attributes which make up the entity of the body. So in that sense, the nature of the body, we are thoroughly checking it with wisdom, looking at the body with wisdom, doing analysis around the body. But the fact that we're not going to forget our object of meditation is mindfulness of body, recollection of body.
다 당보 먼저 류르다 류르다디 심 류중오르다디 고제네마 제 강베티서와 심디 즉 따제시도나 수술러와 따제시도나 야고요 다데 양자 breathing exercise 당가틱스 시작 곰데시 양자다 곰자고스라.
Okay, so let's do it. The first is to meditate on body, close placement of mindfulness of body. The object is one's body. You're going to examine your own body, its nature from the head to the feet. Before we do this, we should do some breathing exercise again.
당강아 지자와 breathing exercise may 5 times breathing exercise.
Can you do 5 cycles? We'll count 5 cycles of inhalation and exhalation.
아야다 류중오라 따는데 두슬람사지 수수 골마 삼단도 가고요래 라과데도 셰고네마 셰니 마도 라과마 셰게셰게니 생게마 ngoshebachin tadiko lewa nimi naku kha sisudima ale lujiran jindi do seje ne gangba to da des kodeu da susu don da lewa dan go dan ning dan do di des khabu da di lagwe do ma tegi o de din chena ne khajel dinim도 저러버지 레옹 도즈 셰바시 디카둘라 딘데 미키 나고인 나인 제 바바제 네 수수 삼루탄 투나네 인지미지 라고디 제고 말에 라고디 제야데 삼루탄에 렐하요 그래서
Understanding, reflecting on the body's nature is not easy. We will start with the head and go down like a body, scanning the body, and it's helpful if you put your hand up at the top of your head and scan it slowly down, thinking this is my forehead, inside is one's brain, one's eyes, nose, I have nose, mouth, and so forth. Be aware of that, what is inside the head and so forth, as you go down through the body, thinking this is the nature of one's body. Of course, it's a little bit easier to think about the feet, but it is more difficult with the head, so it's sometimes helpful to use the hand in that regard.
나도 스코네마 도라
Yeah.
냐 강번에야 삼다야 마 삼다도就是绿了它绿就我的写不起아니 드네 마치 코베 나라 파도 닝다 로다 침바다 도즈 파 삼로 데스 다운텀나 아니 야고요라고
Right. So doing that body scan, then sometimes using the hand, you will notice a sensation of heat. That's fine. But doing that scan down from the head right down through the body to the soles of the feet, then you come up again. This is useful because here you can start to think what is actually inside the stomach and so forth. What are the organs? Inner organs.
아다 디 상상은 수부 깔레라고 카제 그러면 딘데 체네네 수부 상 릴렉스 차도 되나 제 야고다 라고라 미세 뉴웨어 봐 근데 님도 초와 들려용도 초와 저거지 내용도 트여도지나 라고 군거 있나 캬기도나 돈 캬기도나 아니 닝 캬기도나 아니 닝 사오서 그래 네 야고도 하죠 나고라
It's really helpful to do such a body scanning mindfulness when you're feeling tired, because in using the hand has like a heat or a potency there So then also the benefit is that in the winter when you have a cold face, you can warm up your face. And if your heart is cold, you can warm up your heart with this scanning.
되더라. 세상 먼저 뒤준 다 루이지 걸 따로. 뒤중 알아서 지 믹파잖냐 때는 수수 수분을 가려요. 야고 신경만 달아.
Okay.
레버 이지 지거든. 수수 레버 근데 신경면 아니 닝로 침바. 이지잖아. 미잔지 요를 라데르미시. 수분을 가려요. 신경면 와로. 류 때문에 시지고 간라. 류 그란지시엘라네. 쉬우셔다.
It's good to just look at the body as a focal object. We are always so outwardly focused, always, all the time looking out. And we might have some notion of what's in the body, but are we really aware of it? What is my brain like, my heart, my lungs? We know it's kind of there, but we don't always be aware of its characteristics.
좀 된데 당부 류 때문에 샤가 똑바 당부지도 수수 류나게 제도 투즈 참가자들이야게 냠던데 중도
나름이죠.
아주 단다 알레 제도 참모다 참가자 파샤 아니 수수라 캐마 가져요 하고 말 캐마니 지기 로 하고 말하다 가져 캐마 찍래면
Lord Buddha, when he first did this mindfulness of body meditation, was able to count, or see individually all of the atoms within the body, all of the subtle neutrons. For us, we might be lucky if we know that we've got 2 kidneys. How many kidneys?
I have this story. I had this appendix operation. Appendix. When 1992. Yeah, 1992. And then I had the guest to Poland. One day, my teacher told, maybe we're gonna go big hospital. The hospital name is Atikari in Meso. My teacher went there, and he's very very good doctor. He put some finger, and I have very pain. And you need operation soon. Otherwise, you so long your appendix go some food. When I was 14 years old, I have very strong pain. We have cold. We have intubated, our village building house, and all village people coming, hopping, It's a big house. 2 days finish. One day making this foundation, and then next day put a roof, And the roof put their big party, big soup and a big party, evening party. And they're very cold, and then the noodle has lots of fatty, and I eat lots of noodle. And then they have some, I don't know what something. At that time I have very sore something. At that time maybe appendix go to put inside in the appendix. And I lost serving, lost it. Unbelievable painful, And then then later I don't have nothing. And I went in India. And then I can stomach not really well. My teacher said, I think your stomach, you need to check your whole body. And my teacher took me in a hospital at the Gari. And then doctor said, you have appendix problem, you need operation. And I don't have money. I don't have 50 rupees. That time. And I told my teacher, I don't have money. And he just said, I have money. He spent 5,000 that time. I think 5,000. 5,000 is that time huge. Similar now, 500,000 something like that nowadays. Big value. Well, 50 rupee I use 1 month. 50 rupee. And then my teacher give this support money, and I went to the hospital. I stayed there 3 days, and I have my friend. He look after me, and then today operation, and then next morning early I saw hungry, and I told my friend, please go to bring some breakfast. I want to eat something. He went out. He bought some soup and bread and coconut water, and I drink coconut water. I eat it, and I let the doctor come. You're not allowed to eat. Just drink. I already eat. I already eat. I already eat. We required, then later evening they say, yeah, you eat little bit soup, and I saw laughing. He's laughing. We already eat big breakfast. Yeah. And then he's so funny monk. He make lots of joke. And then we don't know English, we don't know Karnataka, we don't know Hindu. He know a little bit Hindu, Kannada mix, and he talking a lot. Beginning we went to hospital, and all nurse, doctor, a little bit not really friendly. And then 1 day later, all nurses don't have job, come to our room. 7 nurses and sit there and laughing. We are laughing. And I had some sobbing.
Yeah, I had some stitches.
Yeah. And I laughing, and I pamper, and they all nurse looking me laughing. We were hospital laughing. And then we are living. 5 days later, there we living, and all nurse doctor said, "Oh, we missing you. We missing you. We are so happy, And 5 days, the whole hospital laughing, very friendly. And then one day, son, he wanted ice cream, and family don't have money, and I sent my friend, please buy ice cream. One son, baby, very cry. And what reason? They want ice cream. And then he told them family don't have money, and we give the ice cream big box, And then the son is very quiet. And then the nurse said, "Oh, this is very good. And next time we want to do something like that." And then 3 months later, and then news. Adhikari has stolen kidney. Adhikari hospital. I saw afraid, I went to the Adhikari hospital, met it, and the five people stealing kidney, and so I check, and I want to go to check, and then I went to my teacher's lesson, to ask teacher. Oh, teacher, I saw the newspaper. The hospital stealing kidney. I little bit afraid, and my teacher so laughing, and my teacher asked another student. He knows English, and he wrote English. Oh, this is Adhikari's brother. Adhikari's brother's hospital. Adhikari's brother's hospital. They're stealing kidney. And then I still am not really sure, my kidneys is there or no. I'm not sure still. 1 kidney or 2 kidney, I'm not sure still. Funny. Jazan, Susu, Subunan, Karaya, Hakumudara. We don't know our in body. We don't know what we have. Exactly. Well, good. Your body mindfulness. You slowly understand inside. lü ranjing all ta was adro lü ranjing all ta was dik 해준 거래 봐 네 야고도 하네 쌤디 다다와간 되기도 하다 아니 대와 상담도 마음 상담도 디 야고도 수 봐.
Looking at the nature of the body in that sense is very important. And if one is able to do that, right there, you'll be in the present moment because you won't be thinking of the future, you won't be recalling the past.
맞아, 뒤에 지 과야 망고지 류들 과야 치디 깔레지 보여라. 나 류를 가르고도 다 대상당으로 알아. 류를 쉬우쉬우 과야요 말이다. 쉬우쉬우 과야요 말다 류를 삼라야 못하나. 쉬우쉬우 과야요 말에.
A lot of our concerns are really around what the body needs, trying to take care of the body. But in reality, what it needs is actually not so much.
아니 전에 다 류를 두 공자인데 아니 류 나네야 계시행 거래와. 지 칼라사야 당 직동야 당 사야도 그 야고 년배이나 그 다다 렌데도 알아. 당은지 디야고 만년배 담만도 사셔도 아니 나기도 와셔서. 세상에 그 수불 내야기 칼라로 되는 류지 깨져도 셴지 산도에마디 랭고 다 사그면서 랭고 그래. 다 되게 마사나나 강이치네요. 다 되게 우죽 잡지 사셔나 아니 나잘레기도 하대. 되게 류려고 따위나 아니 류그란신라. 먼저 류단 초보 relationship 야고 차그로 하다. relationships 되는지 미지 밀라 상당 말다. 그래서 류를 relationship similar relationship 체 디니디 야고 개좀 쉬어지러 와긴라 봐.
We need to talk to the body, or you need to listen to the body. In that sense, make a dialogue. Is the food being accepted? Is the drink going well? And listen to that, what the body is saying. If you don't listen and you're just going over the top, not heeding the messages of the body, you can get sick. So it's good to listen to the news the body is giving oneself and not push or go against those signs. We talk about relationships with others being important, but actually relationships with your body and your mind are important.
딱 저부 딜레야고 되고 그래요.
Yeah, that friend, those friends, please connect well with them.
가디나 데 요르다. 야고이나 데요레 두부이나 데요레 조이나 데요레 두부이나 데요레 르단 심니데 가디나 요라 님도 요라라.
Yeah.
다 딜레는 저야고 소라 당자.
And that's because those two friends of body and mind are always there. If they're going well or not physically, if they're happy or not mentally, they are always there through good and bad. So make a good connect with them.
어디를 다 다리 둔다데. 저랑도 다랑종 저 제외나 뒤중 초시다. 저 뒤중 초시도 다 지금 믹좀 공자케 말죠. 다 수수 전시 바유 된제. 다 디기도로 되바 첨부시라 마체비체. 아니 초시바 다 디디다 그러와 둘로이나 딘데지 디기도 모더이나 딘데지 디기도. 거치 자와드 가래로와. 먼저 둘로 자와 가래 류 줘야 들어와. 공간이나 류 줘고로 와. 다가란 디그다. 아니 모더직 레어 가래 먼저 파주 두바께 들어와고 파주께 들어와지 된장은 께 디르미스 딜을 하고 와도 믹세 개요 말이시라시라로 아니 모더로 콘좀부슈 된저든데나 아니 강에 터버요 다디 소보차모에 데미지지지 구마자모에 다 심데 망보 여러와들 아니 빌리도 망아져 다디 다 초스게민도 하더라 뭐네지나
This week, it is good if we are aware around desires and the area of contentment to be content with what we have. This doesn't mean one has to close one's eyes in meditation. Just do a recollection meditation around it, or let's say introspection. So the clothes for the body, the car to transport you, the function of the clothes is just to keep you warm in the winter time, not much more than that. The car is to carry you here and there, not much more than that. It doesn't have to be a really expensive car. Often if it's an expensive car, you will have issues around that, not wanting to do it, worried about it getting stolen, and then getting lots of bills. It should be much simpler than that.
Oh yeah. 다들 내 건다 배진 지난주 많자 건다 곰자 싱그라다. 건다게 지 수수들이 내가 눈이 채워도 줄라 주제치야 당 아니 산인의 지금에서 캘렌치야 다 계지셔야 돼. 아니 니 그걸로다 아니 지다 내가 야가 체외게 되게 되다. 요가 곰자 밀레 펜도체 구육 선접 구육단들라 빅펜도로 체 아니 어딘데 다직 펜도체버도 야 가오곰 뭐체 겨사셔버도 좀오면은 야고체 도스체제다 니 그걸로들라야 셈디 지 약에 쳐들라 간라 샤투비나 아니 니 이거다 수부대요래서
And you will look like you know how to do a meditation in the evening, in the night. You look like you have experience with that. As you recall, at the end of the day, you recall the day, any mistakes you have made, you resolve to do better the next day. And if the day has in fact gone well, as you're falling asleep, reflect on the good things. You may have helped others in the day or benefited the environment. Now, if things have gone well, rejoice that things have gone well and dedicate those merits of the things that have gone well. Pray, make aspirations, because if one falls asleep with that positive frame of mind, then physically the body is rested and also the mind creates virtue as well.
다 냠내 소래 셈도 삼바상부치야 되다. 개주무 쉬어래서 삼바상부치 밀려야지 편도치야 가르도 다디 개주무 쉬어지래서 디면은 아니 디기 있어야 되다. 배제 가고 쉬어차자래서 제당도 삼바상부 간데 쉬어래 라비언디장가라 아니 수수연기 팀이들 지 가르서 그래 지 펜싱기 꾸네라네 아니 너무 꿀론데 야고 직제는 가서 직 펜싱기 꾸노 야고 직제 엔드네디 전부 맞아요 시제다 지 님의 처음을 걸어야 기도이나 아니 원에게 셈기 디기 용거래라다 내주 망고 쉬우지 다가라게 봐주다 직 리도야지 요래서라고 삼바상부 쳐야 돼. 또 싸워래 냠내 쪼래서
The essential practice, however, is one of the kind intention, the kind heart. One should think to benefit others. That's very important. Without such an attitude, happiness you're seeking you'll never get. So how should we cultivate such a beneficial intention? Those that are close to us in our immediate vicinity, our motivation should be one of altruism, helping them. So when you start the day like that, don't forget that through the course of the day, recollect that again. And then you start to have a degree of, is that mind control, or there's like a basic ethic there?
그래서는 말아서 최 ngobo 탐지 규견라 되네 총으로서 규단 견라 되네 총으로 규단 예len 규len지 지 유니라 되네 용화되다 세브레스로 하고 공고에 주리스로 하셔서 말아서 디기디 되브레스 ngo브레스로 와 아니 거기 예len 규조데 가려서는 삼바상 보셔야 되다 예len 규조 데레서 규조는 규조데 아니 삼바상 보셔야 돼 제단다 디 요나 디기 용고레스로
Why is that? In terms of Buddha Dharma, everything is causally dependent. Everything comes together due to causes and conditions. Those results of that have two. There's a primary cause and a cooperative condition. But in reality, the happiness that we are seeking, which is the result, has as its cause kindness. So the direct cause of your happiness is being kind.
세상 당저 지조래 감len로 때는 편도요 말아 수수매제당 수수 김장당 수수 고육되나라 미래래래게 직 삼바상보로 지도이나 삼바상보데 매나 딱 하고 싶어랬다 제 지금 지당 매제제제 되니지나 매제다시워지면 가고도 와 아니 최 진이지네 때 선바상 보면은 아니 최 그런다 도 야구지 도도고요 말이야. 최에서 도고요 말이야. 다 정말로 짜와라지. 최다 최기 매우체죠. 그런 메제디 세대강게 상무단디니지네 기우고고로 될 선바상 보러 잘래요. 선바상 보면은 아니 70m에서 가보체면도 알아. 미 선바상 보치니데 70m에서 가보체기도 지우도서 가보체기도 하고도 tundu de hakudo tundu de misimba sama sanda de hakudo chena.
And then don't complain a lot to society. What's the point in that? The point would be, in the context of this life, for you to start practicing with your family, with your friends, with society, and practice that attitude with the beings you meet one by one. If you do not do that, then there's no end to the difficulties, not only on a worldly level of not being able to subdue the enemies, but even, of course, within a spiritual sense, you'll never subdue those external ones. But conversely, if you practice that kindness wherever you go in this life, happiness will be there. If not, if you don't practice that, even the dogs and cats, they know that. The animals even know if you are a kind-hearted person or not. No, we leave today's session now.
Hange ngoj melam chi chonanzo melam komya japshan digra ngwa melam chi. Wa gewe zawa de ne. Simje tamje jula di ji ya dang zambulin shi de ya dang da dang de naza de jone nyu du shi ya dang ne mi sewe da dang da de siria dang da wa da nyogda mang wo shi mi so go do. Tuzu sonye gi mi de sem de ma ju do ya. 미도도 다 녀버도 찾아라다. 녀버 더블 찾아라다. 녀모가 직툭 되어 가는 양게 녀버 더블 찾아. 다 녀버 더블 찾아도 매우셔. 스멜라야 보시죠.
I will now dedicate this session, make some prayers. You too, please meditate, and dedicate the virtues we've created to the well-being of the beings in this world, that this universe lives well, that these sicknesses that are prevalent are no longer, and the difficulties that are going on in Syria, I think it's like the Gaza Strip, be pacified. In that sense, the beings that are instigating those difficulties, may they come to change their own minds. What's happened here is double. Already their minds are afflicted, but they have become doubly so.
지난주 단다 내주 딱 지려야 단도 내주 가득 통고여 봐. 내주 가득 마당 받인데다 표다고 들어. 내주 된데 연구여. 쉬워 연구하다. 미시우지 세고여. 예민 세고 미시우지 라도여. 봐. 또 거라도고. 세네 라도여 봐. 근데 제가 동해 잠불링나래 미 세베 동해 할래버다. 먼저 단다 마신 데데는 신나다 내수 메데오라고 저러다. 먼저 마시버디 다 디릭디 답야샤 삼사는 미주지 내주 저런저 답변나 표현 내주 먼저 시면나다 땅 번ang 안조이나 단다 낭배 최디 cap샤면주 낭배 최면나다 표현 미망고 란시자래로 저런저라 안저 표현 내당서로 차나 간대 차서를 직다다로 가고 싶어 진짜 간대 차서를 저런 안저 뒤준내지 친지지라 아니 배디 패닉 체지 되기도 돼 그래서 별 전한세 내지대다 친지래 미징이게 강해지라고 별로 된대 요 말다 별로 내지도서다 낭매 걸었단 거라 별로 미도서 될 최디가 된래도 최디 매나다 별미 망고 시사 란시 잡사라 별미 란시자니 요 말인데 우tuk제 단도스스 레다 된대 삼나다 레게 내고 되고 삼 제치 최디다 단단냠랭 먼저 찍게 내게 셔야 돼 메젠나라 편도 전부 쉬어래도 할래고 편도 전부 쉬다
These situations we see in the world, we can literally see them on the news, such as Syria and so forth. But what about these situations we don't see? How about that? So many human sufferings have occurred in the world that we don't see. For example, the world didn't really see what happened in Tibet, how many people died. Those situations where you see it directly and you want to do something about it because you're affected, that's one case. But there's no rest from the other cases that you don't see. That's going on all the time. And in the context of Tibet, the fact that we had met the teaching of Buddha Dharma probably meant that Tibetan people didn't take their own lives a lot when they were facing those problems. We have these days one or two small situations upon which we panic. But if you really understood what happened in Tibet, because we had the Buddha Dharma, we didn't recourse to suicide. We're not talking about one or two small things that you would panic around. We're talking about bigger things. And I think this is because we had studied the Buddha Dharma and we understood the law of karma, that when we experience these difficulties, the karma is rightening from the negative things we've done. And that can I really think that can help us in the context of this life, understanding the cause and effect of Buddha Dharma.
Zonandi Nanjay Sequoia, Comanche Junior Dadin, Godana than Chive Labdi, Sive Solo show. Chandeo Danji, Jawadan, Jesu languages over Yovazeta, Tamjes of West Jimbo. Changes in Joramboje, Majavana, Yuji, Jawanyamba Memoya, one day paper show. Okay, Adisha.
Stop now.